Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCauley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives coming, lighten up your days. Tool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News, deep dives, and creation.
Yeah!
Starship.
Here we are. Yeah, that's us.
Hey.
How's it going, Brandon?
I think my computer is frozen.
Oh, okay. I got you good now, but you dropped out.
Polar vortex is no joke.
Oh, no. So how are you doing? Are you freezing the heck up there? I mean, what's your temperature and status here? You got power?
Right. Yeah. Right now we have power. Right now it's about 7 degrees.
Oof. You add a 2 to the end of that, you've got our temperature, 72 right now.
It is not fun. We are.
Man, I got a lot of my friends.
Yeah, but you are on falling lizard alert.
Yeah, I got rid of 2. Yep. I have 5 less lizards in my yard. And thanks to my cat, I have 27 fewer lizards in my yard. So our cat Shadow has been bringing in lizards like crazy. Just a couple of months ago, he brought in 27 total, 3 per day. And where does he put them? Right on the white sheets on my roommate's bed. So it's kind of a pain in the neck. But yeah, okay. So AI, so everybody's going through this. I guess it's Superstorm Fern. I guess they're now naming them, which I understand the federal government's not naming them, although they seem to name everything, not United States of the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. There's Claire coming in. All right. So we got a good show for you tonight. We got a lot of news. We got a lot to cover. And we've got a special guest with us today, Real Estate Bob. We'll bring him on just a minute. We're going to do our news first and kind of get through what are the big stories happening for us. And I'm going to bring up on screen the slide deck that I've got to kind of walk through it. Hey, Claire, how you doing? And here's Bob. You want to say hi, Bob?
Hello, everyone.
Bit of a deer in the headlights. How's your temperature doing, Bob? Where are you coming from?
I guess we're slightly warmer than Brandon, 13.
13? Yeah. Whereabouts is this?
Powell, Ohio.
Okay.
Columbus.
So
right.
A couple hours.
My uncle lived in Columbus. He was what was the name of the newspaper? The Republic?
Columbus
Dispatch. Okay. There's another one. I guess he was in the next city over. Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about real estate in our tool time, our deep dive. Which one are we doing that? Oh, yeah. Our deep dive. Today is going to be deep dive. We showed you a little bit last time. Bob wasn't able to join us, so we're going to be talking about that quite a bit today. And we're going to start with a couple of big stories that are kind of out. And the first one, which was originally called ClawdBot, which I thought was kind of weird because, did Claude come out with its own agent? And it's been really a hot topic. What can you tell us about this, Brandon?
Yep. I'm gonna have you talk about that and the open source project. My browser is not having this
cooperating. Okay, so you can probably can you get me up on screen?
I'm gonna have to do a full reboot of my browser. So
can you leave it with? Can you leave it with my screen on screen?
You and Bob talk amongst yourself.
Talk. I can be verklempt.
So I'm I'm going to put the video up on screen there. There we go. We can talk about this. Okay. So ClawdBot's a couple of things, which is pretty cool. So ClawdBot had to change its name, obviously, over to Moltbot, which this is a really true story. Moltbot is the symbol of the lobster. But Moltbot, because Claude said, hey, you can't call yourself ClawdBot. It's not Claude. It is a U.S. company. And what it does is takes complete ownership of your computer, everything. So it's scary as heck. And so this, as it says, only try this if you're dead serious. You know how to, you're not worried about it. So people are buying Mac Minis, like crazy Mac Minis, right? So it'll do like literally take all of your control over everything on your computer. Anything you can do on your computer, it can do it too. Managing email, financial reporting, travel booking, code generation. I mean, it literally can take care of everything. You can leave it, go away for like a couple of days, and come back, and whatever you wanted to get done is done. However, like we've seen with Comet and other agentic browsers, it becomes a kind of a bad situation, right? That sometimes it could take over and do things you don't expect. I mean, some of the early days was you ordered 3,000 rolls of toilet paper, right? Because you just ordered one and it put a different digit in there. I've been using Comet with a lot of caveats. I'm using it for creative stuff. So here's how I think about it. Right now, I would not use it. We'll talk in just a minute about Google, who we do trust, is doing this. So unless you're a programmer and you have a dedicated machine and you have only content on there that you don't care if you lose it all, don't touch it. But if you do and you want to play around, buy yourself a Mac Mini and put that puppy on there and let her rip. The people that are doing it, this is a big paradigm shift. And that's, the title up there, right? It's a paradigm shift because we're getting to where Google can answer emails autonomously. We can have a browser like Comet that I can actually have it control the screen itself, and I can have it pay for things. This machine actually went out to 11 labs because it tried to order something that the person asked for, cloned and made a voice for itself, and then spoke to the person on the other end of the line and ordered the supplies and stuff to be delivered. I mean, it's literally that kind of thing. So again, it's only for your super high tech. Hey, Brandon, is this something you would actually try yourself?
I would probably try the next iteration. So I'm not. This is a little bit too dangerous for me to touch right now. I don't know well enough. It's subjective to prompt injection hacks. So I have seen other projects where they have local LLMs on a device that don't have as much agentic capability. But in a future episode, we'll talk Gemini CLI, command line interface. Because that I think is a really powerful tool.
Yes, and Claude has it too, right? Yeah, Claude, the real Claude, not the Anthropic's Claude has this too. And what it will do, and the same things I've seen demonstrated, is it actually take all your files and rename them and put them in different folders, that kind of thing. Google is starting to roll that out too. We'll talk about it in just a second. But before I go any further, I got to tell you, what the heck are you looking at here, right? So I'm watching the WTF Moonshot guys. That's Peter Diamandis and his buddies over there. And they're talking to this woman who's in charge of like this super research group that'll tell you what's happening the next 5 years. Everybody on the planet, it's a show you got to watch. If you haven't watched it, we talked about them last week. So Peter Diamandis, yes, he's the guy, the moonshot stuff. He's actually, launching rockets. He's talking to Elon. He's guiding Elon. He's investing in him. He's a super rich guy. He's going to solve health. He's that guy too. Very optimistic, very forward thinking. If you want some smart stuff to watch, watch it. So anyway, so there's a guy named Alex on there who is literally a verifiable genius. Okay. And so they brought up this idea of this application and they said, oh, it's not ClawdBot. So literally it hit Friday night. By Saturday morning, Claude had already said, Deceased, you got to change your name over to Moltbot. And then they picked as their symbol a lobster. Well, there happened to be a book called Accelerando, if you're a forward-thinking kind of person, by Charles Strauss. So I highly recommend you watch it. So so this guy, Alex, who's a real geek, I mean, he is like the super amazing geek. He's really insightful, and he has a way of thinking about things that like blow my mind. So, anyway. So he says the first scene of it is that they gave over AI to a lobster because it has a different brain. And so then they start talking about Salvador Dali. So the woman on the show runs the Salvador Dali Museum in St. Petersburg. So it's like, holy crap. Okay, so I made this. So there's Salvador Dali talking about the Mac Minis, which everybody's buying it to run this on, and all the geeks down there in the bottom left-hand corner. So I just thought this was funny because Lobster in the Machine replaces the Ghost in the Machine was kind of the thing. So this is just me vibe coding based upon Notebook LM, and I started a whole notebook about this whole ClawdBot thing. So, and now called the MoltBot. And molting happens to do with lobster, and now lobster's their new scene. All right. So in real news that you can use, here's what I would recommend you doing. And Brandon, I think it's going to show you in a minute.
Yep.
This is the Chrome browser. So this is the browser that you've trusted and you've used. In fact, comments build on the back of Google's same Chrome browser. And there's thousands. So there's 2 billion people on the planet that use it already. So, and it's made by Google. And so Google finally said, hey, let's make this happen. So you can draft email responses, QR. So it's an assistant that shows up on the side. You tell it what to do, and sequentially it'll go through, and you can see what it's doing here. And just a second, I think, Brandon, you've got queued up to show the video.
Yep. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
So this is what you can try. And just to give you an idea, this is one of the best guys that I follow on LinkedIn that's really worth sharing as well. And here you go.
Welcome to a first look at a massive update coming to Gemini in Chrome. We're rolling out a suite of features that move Gemini from a passive assistant to an active agent that can actually do quite a few things for you. And it starts with the new interface. The new Gemini side panel is now a permanent high-performance home for AI within Chrome. Now let's talk about Nano Banana. This is Google's new state-of-the-art model for in-context image transformation. And traditionally, if you wanted to see how furniture would look in a room, you'd have to download a photo, upload it to an editor, and hope for the best. Here with Nano Banana, you just point Gemini to an image already on your screen. And in this demo, the prompt is show me this room with light contemporary furniture. And it worked great. We're also seeing deeper integration with Google Workspace. Here, the challenge is drafting a group email.
And I just want to pause that for a second. Bob, I don't think staging is ever going to be the same in your world when you look at houses.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in just a second. So this is just showing off the Nano Bananas built into it, but the entire ecosystem of Gemini. So watch this next part.
Complex document. In the demo, the user is reading a learning syllabus and needs to coordinate a study group. Instead of toggling back and forth, Gemini reads the syllabus in the main window and drafts an email in the side panel. Look at the prompt. It's asking Gemini to include 3 specific books from the syllabus with a brief synopsis, but written in the style of reality TV. So Gemini pulls the data from the active tab and prepares the email for sending without the user ever having to lose their place in the text. Now we get into the truly agentic stuff with auto browsing. This is where Gemini takes the wheel. In this Expedia demo, we are going to not just be asking for a list, we're asking for a booking. We say, I want to travel to Chicago and stay at this hotel for these dates. You check how much the hotel costs for each of the weekends. And we provide a few other dimensions that we need it to look out for here. So what happens is that Gemini is not just going to be, looking through the dates. It's able to open up tabs. It's able to do any additional research needed. You can see it here going through all of this UI, figuring out the right ranges, going through all of these flows before we're finally able to get you to that step where you've got your search results and your options presented right to you. Now, for the apartment hunters out there, Gemini is a game changer. We've all spent hours scrolling through favorites only to realize half of them don't allow pets. In this Redfin demo, the prompt is go through my favorite apartments and remove any that are not pen-friendly. Then add Gabriel as a collaborator. Gemini navigates to your favorites list. It clicks into each listing to check the fine print for pet policies and removes the ones that don't fit. And then it handles the administrative task of inviting your roommate. It turns a tedious hour of admin into a pretty quick request. I think this is pretty awesome. Now, one of the other most satisfying updates we've got is, what we call the end of digital laundry. Here's another demo that shows a user registering a team for a kickball tournament. They have a PDF roster and a long online form. Now, traditionally, this is a nightmare of copy pasting. Here, you just tell Gemini, using the info in our team roster, register our team and fill in their names and their positions. So Gemini extracts the data from a PDF in one tab, and it types it directly into the form fields in the other. This is manual labor being automated. And it looks really, really cool here, just seeing how well this can work.
So this is just, it's taking over your browser.
Awesome.
So
now we see that registration form is done. Finally, we have visual agentic shopping.
Did you want to talk about that, or should we keep going with the last one?
Yeah, I think we can skip that, but I want to distinguish. In fact, you know what I'm going to call it, Brandon? I'm going to call it LobsterBot. How about that? MoltBot? What the heck is Molt? So we got Nana Banana and we got LobsterBot. So what's the difference between LobsterBot and what Google and Gemini are doing here? You've got Gemini in a browser that they made, who's a trusted partner that is certified in every certification of capabilities. And they're not doing this like most people would be. They're not doing it to janky and potentially extremely dangerous to your data. No, I mean, I would not buy. I would not book tickets. I wouldn't even. We got a dog going here. Huh? I would not even. I wouldn't do anything with the LobsterBot yet. Let that puppy cook for a little bit, and then put some butter on it, and then I think we're probably okay, right? All right. So let me. Any other thoughts?
And by the way, if you have, you can see if you have this right now, and if you're using Chrome, at the very top where your tabs are, you're looking for the word Gemini or the little Gemini diamond. And you may have more access than you think, because Chrome just kind of quietly dropped this into all of their browsers in an update.
Yeah. And you do have to do the update. And when you find it, it's exactly like Comet. It appears on the right-hand side typically, and then it will start to open up. Now, you can go in there because the last week we talked about Google releasing Google, what is it called? Workspace? Works something?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Workspace? I think it is.
Yeah.
Which is you're allowing it to connect your calendar to your Google Drive, to your Notebook LM, to the whole full circle.
Personalized stuff inside of Google. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got personalized, which is also going to include health coming up. And it already has for me. And then on top of that, it's going to be speaking all the stuff. So basically, here's the deal. $20 a month, just Google is your pal for the rest of your life. It's everything you ever wanted to do. Everything I'm going to show you from now on probably is just going to say Google on it, until Apple gets their act together. And guess what that is? Apple is Google. So Siri is Google. So, forget LobsterBots for now. Gemini will get there. They're just showing up late, just like Apple used to do, right? But they're showing up perfect. Okay, so I think that lands the plane on that thing. And Bob, everything I show you tonight that I'm showing you in Notebook LM, then I'll show you how to make a PowerPoint presentation. I'm doing it in Google's Notebook LM. Then I'm going to Google Drive, turning that into an audio overview with my own slides that I made in Google Slides. And then I can go, create a chatbot in the future and code out some stuff, So Google has a whole ecosystem that's just like Lovable, which we're going to show you at the end of the show tonight, in that you can make apps. So you can already do that too. So if you have this fatigue like I do, that I'm literally using 27 applications that I'm paying that $20 a month. I'm spending almost $1,000 every month on these things just to test them out. So you don't have to. So you're getting this stuff free. So like and subscribe. So one more thing that I'm testing out is Crea. And they just came out with this. So if you could pull my screen up, we'll take a look at this crazy stuff. So what is this? This is me acting like a fool here. And it is in real time. So make everything claymation. That's all I wrote. Turned on my camera, and there I am acting. And it's doing everything I'm doing. So now I could put a picture of my children's book on the right and say, make me do these things, right? So I'm going to try this now. What do you call it? Kling has this capability, so it will actually lip sync. So the only thing it's doing, it's a little bit behind on the lip sync. Now I decided to eat my camera. Oh my God, that's gross. If everything just to entertain you guys, that's all I'm doing here, right? So, all right, let me get out of there for a second. Now I'm going to quickly kind of shift gears. We're going to go through this quickly because we do want to really get to Bob and really get into the deep thing. But something I came across, and I had to make a moment for myself because I noticed, Brandon, I know that you've been online and talking about everything that's happening in the world and politics and everything. How many of you feel like you're just like, oh God, you're numb? You just can't believe that things are happening in the world are happening, right? How many of you have actually dropped off of, in fact, leave in the chat there. I'd like to know how many of you have given up on social media for a little bit. So here's how I feel about it, and just a thought. And it's a little dark here when I get started, but I promise you, I will land the plane in a beautiful place, and you'll feel just beautiful by the end of this. So I come across this feed someone put in there about Viktor Frankl, and if you don't know him, is anybody familiar with him? Brandon, are you or Bob familiar?
Yeah,
with
I'm
Viktor?
very familiar with Viktor Frankl. Yeah, he was a Holocaust survivor, and he has one of the best books I've ever read, and how to survive in that mindset.
So this is what I'm suggesting, and I want to take you on a little bit of a journey. This might take just a minute, but his big thing is he was stripped of everything, including his entire family was killed and massacred. He says tyrants throughout history have failed to understand that while you can strip human being of everything, their possessions, their name, their body, there remains one inalienable freedom that cannot be taken away. The freedom to choose one's attitude when given any set of circumstances. The freedom to choose one's own way. It's a legacy that he leaves. And he went on to have a spectacular life, climbing mountains, having mountain trails named after him. I mean, just you definitely need to kind of take a look at it. So a couple of things that I also said to myself is, I am this dangerous man, and I'm on the literal bleeding edge every day, doing stuff that I probably shouldn't, staying up too late and all the rest of the kind of stuff. And I realized in the AI salon, actually, Kyle and many other people there reminded me to take time for myself. Because if I'm going to be a dangerous man out there fighting the battle for everybody else, I've got to take time for peace. Peace in my mind, peace in my head. So I deep dove into what he had to say. And one of his suggestions is that we should have a second Statue of Liberty on the West Coast. So in my deep research about who Viktor Frankl was, an absolutely beautiful man and a dangerous man of just extraordinary proportions. It was called one of the best books in Library of Congress, and it's one that I highly recommend that you do read and reread. And maybe you go back to that moment and you realize that even in the darkness we're in now, and the super worst darkness that he was in, he found a way to find hope. And so here, this song is for you.
Generations walked before, left their footprints on this shore. Oh Lord, we were keepers of the flame, taught us how to speak the earth's true name.
We stand on shoulders made of stone and gold, the stories of the broken and the bold. Imagine
rising from the ashes we have sown.
Imagine
a future built on seas we've never known.
With wings of light and hands that hold tomorrow, we mend the cracks with gold born from our sorrow. Imagine the darkness, face the fear.
Shackled, broken, treaties torn in two. But gardens growing where the ashes flew.
We carry forward all they sacrificed.
Not to forget, but to make it right. Imagine rising from the ashes we have sown. Imagine a future built on seeds we've never known. With wings of light and hands that hold tomorrow, we mend the cracks with gold born from our sorrow. From liberty's torch to the western sky, one people learning how to fly. What will you give to those not yet born? What seeds will you plant in the coming dawn? Stand in the hall of now and swear that 7 generations you will care. Imagine rising from the ashes we have sown. Imagine a future built on seeds we've never known. With wings of phoenix spreading wide, with hearts that hold the turning tide. We are the ones who mend, who grow, who lead. We are the promise, we are the seed. From the rock we rise, from the bay we soar. Not as we were, but so much more. Imagine. Imagine.
So I'm going to take a moment to imagine Viktor Frankl and the legacy that he leaves behind. And so last night on AI Salon, Kyle went into a kind of a deep dive. He was looking for something to do, and I just happened to mention, hey, what are you going to do in a post-labor economy when you don't have a job? Because so many of us identify ourselves as by our job title. You know, Bob the realtor, Rick the teacher, you know, Brandon the AI engineer. You know, I mean,
producer Brandon.
Producer. There you go. Right. And he started to vibe code, and I said to myself, you know what? And it was the last thing. So I was studying the ideas and the words, and the book has all kinds of ideas about how to think about living, how to think about your purpose is your responsibility to everybody else. That love is a measure truly of what your value is on earth, what you add value to other people's lives, how you make yourself a better version of yourself every day is the true thing that we have as a gift in the finite time that we have as human beings. It's something AI cannot touch. It has no interest in solving cancers and everything else, but we do. So then I started thinking, because Viktor Frankl asked for this. I said, if in our 250th anniversary, which is coming up way fast, this July 4th, I want to start and put the pediment down. And so I started going on a deep dive, and I created this image. And I was just thinking about, you know, a sister to the Statue of Liberty, and put it on the West Coast, having it face China and Russia and the rest of the world as we come together as a world. And then I thought, well, who had this land? The Native Americans for over 4,000 years. In fact, it may be 10 to 20,000 years before any of us white people showed up. So that Native American, then I decided the kintsugi, the putting the gold back where the cracks are in your history. So this is what I created at first time around. And I thought, why not go bigger? And I kept asking myself, what is it we have to learn? What was the Statue of Liberty? What was the poem, Give us your tired, your poor, yearning to breathe free? What did that mean? And what if the new Statue of Liberty is a sister born of responsibility to think about 7 generations going forward? You can see the kintsugi effect, which is from Japanese lore of how to live a good life. You break something, you mend it by putting back and putting right what you did wrong to others. You plant the seeds of a tree you'll never enjoy the shade of. And we teach our children this way, that they are born of responsibility to the community, to thinking about 7 generations in the future. So I started thinking, what else could I do? And then I imagined this, the different Statue of Liberty with wings made to electronically glow in the night, a giant sphere at the top filled with water that moves around and lights the whole West Coast. That it can be seen as you walk through this museum at the base, the past. The past is where you walk through. So I decided to imagine it just a little bit more, that we go into the base and we go through our whole history, not just as a nation, but let's start all the way back to the Native Americans, the pre-contact life. And we celebrate. I went to the Washington Museum, the African American History Museum, and in the bowels at the very bottom, you are inside the ship with the shackles in darkness. And as you rise up, you go up through the pain and the suffering, and you get to what African American people have added to our society. So what you see here are the levels and the foundation of time, starting with what is on the left, the Native Americans' dark times, the slavery dark times, the annihilation and expansion of Native Americans, the Civil War, the labor and exploitation, the different ages of time. And on the right are all the things that did good for us, the birth of our nation, the celebration of the Reconstruction and hope. We can be better versions of ourselves every day, but we need to be reminded, artifacts of that. So this is what it would look like. This is the pediment that sits on the rock of Alcatraz. Alcatraz becomes Phoenix, the island. And you go there to rise again, to learn what you did wrong and repair it with kintsugi effect. And then you go up each time to learn more and more about what we did wrong and what we need to fix with our peoples, with being human. What is it to celebrate these principles? And as you rise higher and you have the nuclear bomb and you have Martin Luther King and you have people on the moon and you have the AI age is that top deck at the top. 7 generations are counted here. 7 generations is typically 7 generations in 250 years, which is what each empire has had to survive. So we cleanse ourselves at that top. That top one above the industrial age and the computer age is the age of AI, where we have a chance of a do-over. We get rebirthed and renaissance as completely washing and cleaning ourselves to prepare to be of service to all others. If we don't have a job, what we go there to do, the same way the Holocaust Museum has immortalized the stories of those survivors, in a library, you can go listen to people who have already passed. This will be a place of memory, of history. As we stand on the shoulders of all human history, we have to be reminded what went wrong and what we can do to fix it. So as you rise up to the top, you get to go there with your child and you get to say, what is my ikigai? What do I have to offer for the greater good? Not what AI can do for me, or my country could do for me, or my world can do for me. No, you're not born with rights. You're born with responsibilities. So what do I have as a gift to give? So you go and record yourself. And throughout history, those people who rise, who get to be stars in this hall of fame at the top, are the ones that inspire us to go higher and higher. So this is the gifting floor. We gift our knowledge and we say out loud in front of the world, what are we born to gift? And then we climb higher and we get into an elevator. And the elevator is right up through the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. Or in this case, it's called, her sister is called Imagine. Her name is Imagine. So you imagine tomorrow and you go up through the entire passageway. There's a elevator in the World Trade Center, the new one, that basically takes you from Civil War and goes up through history. So you're surrounded as you stand in the middle of a circular elevator and you rise up through the base, up to the top, and you see surrounding you Maya Angelou and every single human being who was a star, who rose up. You see that her cloak and her clothing is broken and filled with gold. It's the same copper sisterhood that the East and the West Coast will be tied together. This is Imagine. And we see around us. And when we get to the top, at every level, reminding ourselves of where we came from, we get to rise and see what our future looks like through the eyes and the portal of the eyes of the statue of Imagine. And she'll be, of course, a little bit different. The war and reconstruction, the AI in the future. And you get to see what the future looks like right now as you look at the Golden Gate Bridge, as you look to the West, and you watch the sunrise from this podium. And then you rise and imagine a world if you could change things. And the wings will move, and the sphere will be filled with water of cleansing. And you will imagine as you see what tomorrow looks like. So I imagine, and I hope you will too, and join me. Imagine a world and what we can do to make it better. I thank you. Whew.
Like I want to stand up and applaud.
Well, good. You know what? So I think the next lovable thing we're going to try to do is build the funding for this thing, right? So you can take it off screen, I think, for a second here. So this is where I got some of the ideas from and the inspiration. These guys, these are the moonshot guys. So definitely start following them. These are the folks, if you're in business, Paul Rotzer and Mike Kaput, definitely two people. If you're in business, these are the people you want to every week, once a week, and sometimes twice, because these guys were talking to a bunch of people. So everything that I've showed you so far. Dr. Alexander Wisner Gross, I swear he's the lobster guy that told us about that, right? Told me about it. So I'm just kind of sharing. Yeah, Tony Robbins on there. I definitely recommend two shows you absolutely watch. On the right hand side, you see Tony Robbins takes AI's hardest questions, and then the countdown to AGI with none other than Ray Kurzweil. 30 years in AI. He is the futurist of all futurists. He's the one that got it right. He's the one that told us right where we are is where we're going. So he's on there to answer all those questions and deservedly to accept the praise for what he has done. So one of the things I took away from the Paul Rotzer show, the AI Institute, is this sort of cycle of jobs. He was saying, how is your job going to be affected? So this is our transition into Bob in just a second here. And in fact, the last one is going to be real estate. So what is your difference? What's your differentiation? What's your learn, adapt, and innovate? So this is my mantra. So if you're in whatever business you're in, here's what you need to do. Learn. Go to AI Salon, join at the mastermind group. We just had a meeting this morning. And then learn whatever it is. Get into a salon group, a subdomain group that's your specialty. So, Bob, are you actually part of the realtors, or is there a realtors part of the salon?
There's nothing separate for that, but I belong to a bunch of other stuff.
And are you finding it useful for you? And I mean, that's
ironically, I try not to be with a bunch of other realtors, because then they start thinking like realtors.
Ah, okay. So you like that different mindset,
that
right?
could be a limiting factor, because realtors are right up there with what Spock said, with bones and knives. You know, there's no technology. They're not the idea of an early adopter is they're reading books now.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. And Brandon is now an official employee of the AI Salon. And what are you doing these days, Brandon? And do you want to speak to this idea of the different salons? Is there use groups that you find worthwhile?
Yeah, so inside of the salon community.thesalon.ai, I'm serving the role as the community engagement officer or CXO, trying to help establish more consistent practice and more consistent voice through the community. And within that community, it's a great community to be a part of, over 4,000 people free. And there's some masterminds and there's some things you can do to level up. But beyond that, we do a lot of free learning. I did my Learn Out Loud on how to do a children's book a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
Corey Sandler, who is a potter, is doing one on image generation and imaginative creativity this weekend.
Yeah, she was terrific on the live today. She got on there and talked about slowing down. So she found herself, she does professional work, and then she found herself putting her artwork in it. This is a common thing that many of us on the sort of bleeding edge, we have to slow down and we have to take time and find some place of peace, because creativity is really the best if you stop and you hold on. So the three things that I suggest, and as I'm showing these, I want you to realize this is the previous one was for health. This is the way that doctors and nurses are going to be using, like we talked about Life Force a couple of weeks ago, right? That's the idea here. Where does it get infused? To amplify the human. That's it. So in all of these sort of things, I asked for 6 steps. And of course, you got the numbering wrong, but still, this is the worst it's ever going to be. And it's pretty damn good as far as I'm concerned. And then here in educational, the assisting in the educational process. How do you do it? Human mentorship. So, and what I want you to take note of is levels 1, 2, and 3. So I instructed it to do this. In each of the processes of being a teacher, what do? You develop and design curriculum, rubrics, and such like that. How much AI? So a level 1 is human only. Level 2 is assisted by AI. Level 3 is it's a task. You can toss it over to do the research and find out all the best cited information about whatever subject you want to do, right? So it starts with curriculum design. That's level 2. Lecturing, live, that's human. 100% level 1. Materials and reading. So when I get to, I want you to think about this, Bob, because when I get to real estate, I want you to comment and tell me if you think this is true or if it's going to be true. I know this is true, and this is how I teach. Many of my colleagues are not going there. So mentorship and feedback, level 1, for sure, all 100% human. Output assignments like taking a look and collaborating. They collaborated with other humans, and they're going to use other humans to learn how to collaborate. Social and emotional intelligence, those are all human. But then when it comes to deciding which idea goes forward, you can use it as a Socratic method to test out. So you can both present to the AI in a debate, this is the best design. No, that's the best design. You present both of your designs, which makes you think about why. And then it does an assessment and gives it back to you. And then you then come together for the final decision. 100% human. And then tutoring, FAQs, research. We're doing research on who are the demographics. So you can't do demographic research and also hold on to design in your head. You're trying to find out what 3 groups are non-overlapping that do blah, blah, blah. No, that's all AI. So send it out there. Tutoring, let me study for the test by grilling me and never give me answers, but correct me when I'm wrong and tell me to tell you what's wrong, right? So real estate, here we go, Bob. So take a look at these. So they're saying lead acquisition filtering, that's level 3. That means that could be done with AI. Is that true, you think?
Yeah, to a certain degree, absolutely. There's the discernibility is difficult with AI because you're talking about emotional decisions, and that has nothing to do with logic at all. And there's no pattern relative to being able to establish that. Even though most humans are pretty much predictable, but no, I don't see that happening. I was ironically talking to Brandon. I think real estate has 3 different components to it, and the lead acquisition is one aspect of it. Administrative is another part, and then the third part is the actual negotiations, the tactics, and the strategies.
Great. Okay, so let me slow down just a little bit. let's talk about, so let's make a pretend scenario. What's a average scenario for the kind of customers? What are they asking you for, and what do you need to provide them during the process of screening and lead acquisition? So we've got this couple, let's say it's a family of 5 and they're moving into a neighborhood. What do you do with the information you get from them? So they come to you, so they want to buy a house. We got 3 kids, elementary, high school, college, right? So you want to make sure that those things are nearby, and you want to get lead acquisition. So you're going to be filtering out all the stuff out there that at all of your places. Is AI useful in that correctly right now?
I don't know, because I don't see people using it in that respect.
Okay.
I think people are definitely using a lot more. People are a lot more opinionated and a lot more educated about their purchase decision than they were before. I mean, the best example of that is, in my opinion, typically it leads with like the school district and the price are the 2 biggest things.
Right.
And those are the 2 factors that go into it.
Okay.
So that, and it also depends upon where and how they're coming to the market, meaning, are they moving up within the market? Are they coming to someplace else?
Okay.
Those kind of things.
So what stage are they in life? If they're retired, they're downsizing. If they're this, they're that. So, but filtering through all the noise to get to the ones that you would present to your client, step number 2. So now you've got this new client, and you know what they're looking for. So you're going to use that filtering system to get exactly what they want. So you're not going to show them 10,000 houses. You want to be as efficient as you can, and see if you can pre-visualize in their head, so they are pre-selecting. So you're not going, how many houses would you typically show a family of 5 before you get them to buy one?
It depends upon the people and their history. Okay.
What's the range?
Ironically, I just had a client who was a first-time home buyer that saw 43 houses, made offers on 5 of them, was in contact with 3 of them to ultimately buy 1 house. So unfortunately, because of the fact that since COVID, people's psychological aspect of how, if they put the sign in the yard, there were 10 people there to buy the house. Okay. And now it's starting to shift, and it's becoming more of a balanced market. Our market is definitely skewed more towards the seller, meaning we have a lot more buyers than we do have sellers. So those are
remind me of your market, your metropolitan area.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Average price around 400,000, 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house.
Okay.
Average first-time home buyers like 40 years old. Average move-up buyers 62. Okay, so that's a national thing. Columbus is almost exactly what the national averages are.
Okay, so Columbus has got that. Right now, is there a glut or overabundance of properties?
No. So how the definition of a seller's market is, or a buyer's market, is kind of what you're asking. Right. According to the NAR, that is a definition saying that if it takes more than 6 months of inventory for a house to sell, then it's a buyer's market. If it's less than 6 months, it's a seller's market.
43 houses sound like a lot to go through, no?
It is. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So up until that time, if a person had come to me, it would be because there weren't that many houses available for them to see. So there was no real data points for them to be able to go and look at it. So they really couldn't discern as much. Typically that meant that they weren't seeing 5 or 6 or 7 houses. Okay. Now, ironically, that's a different market than somebody coming in and saying that I want to be in a particular school district at a particular price. They're trying to decide the market, saying I want it now when the market might not have it. So a good example is that are suburbs. Those houses that are 500 to 750,000, that would be that, there's only 1 or 2 of them really available in any day, even still today.
Wow.
Because the market's still good. So like tomorrow, I'm going to look at 2 houses that are over $1 million, and they'll both sell tomorrow or the next day. That's And
okay, so let me
So let me back up. Still really sell.
Let me maybe back up a little bit. Okay, so you've got throughout history, you've had tight markets and loose markets and demand and supply and demand. So that's that. And then you had probably the most disturbing impact on you all has been the internet age. What has that changed about your job? And then what I want you to do as we go through the rest of this, the 6 steps here, what's different between the internet age, let's call it that, And then, because you've got Zelle and you've got realtor.com, you got all these different things, right? And then now the AI age, is it getting easier for you? Are you doing less work, or
no, it's actually getting worse because people want to know more and they have more stuff to look at, and they have the same speed and access that I pretty much get it because of, unfortunately, the realtors give all the data. So Zillow and Redfin, and people don't really understand how, like, Zillow is not a real estate company. They're a lead generation company. So all their goal is to get as many people as they can to buy their leads and take 40 to 45% of their income for that referral.
Right. So I want to have a personal story here real quickly. So I went to sell my house last year, and I happened to I wanted to sell it by myself because I've owned 7 houses. So I bought and sold them, no problem. Always had realtors, always paid the commission, all that kind of stuff, right? And then the last one I actually sold, the house that I moved into this one and bought this one, I had a realtor and helped me stage the old place and get it looking really great. So it was expensive. It took me 3 months to get ready to sell it. I had to replace toilets myself. I resodded the lawn myself. And then when I thought about selling this house, I've been in 7 years right now. I put it up on Zelle, and then I put in my phone number. Huge mistake, by the way, because the back end of it in Zillow. Yeah, I'm sorry, Zillow. Sorry, not Zelle, Zillow. Yes. And what happened for the last 2 years, or the year and a half since, is I'm getting a constant set of calls. So know this, please. Don't put your real phone number or your real email up if you're going to try to do it yourself. And I knew I could do it myself because I got into ChatGPT and I did this whole thing. I did comparables. I looked at what I was looking for. I went and saw the houses when they had open houses. So I still was probably going to, the seller was going to be paying the commission. I was going to try to sell my house because my roommate was becoming a realtor, and so she would have taken care of that part of it. So I think, your people are coming to you, and they've already been through 3 different apps, and they already kind of know what they want. Do they hand you, show me these 3 houses?
A lot of times they do, or we talk about it, and like some of the things I do, I call that rules of engagement. So you can buy a bad house if you want, but if you want me to help, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to guide you to do that. So we have to define what that means based upon what you're trying to buy.
Gotcha.
No railroad tracks, no power lines, no main drags, no negatives or objections that I can't improve or change. Those are things that can never change. Okay. No matter how great you think you're going to buy it, price wise, that objection is always going to be there. So don't do those kind of things. Part of this is one of the reasons that you would hire a real estate agent is to prevent problems, because most people don't do this, but very few times in their lives, and they're massive, massive financial decisions. So the best thing that I can do for somebody is tell them the truth and let them understand how this really is going to work, because I've done it for 30 years and it really hasn't significantly changed. And it's not going to. People are still going to buy and sell houses. The world of the AI, I mean, I've been around in real estate before the internet was there. And yes, it had a significant impact, but it didn't change how unfortunately, our business is not radically changed. It is not. It is not. I mean,
the customer, I think the kind of thinks it has changed. I mean, so I paid 17.5% interest rate on my first house, just to give you an idea. Right now I'm at 2.9. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's back in the day, right? So stuff has changed quite a bit there. I think what's interesting is
you have what's called golden handcuffs.
Yeah. Yes, I got golden. So I went to buy a house in Miami, and I just can't, because my insurance, because I'm in Florida, tripled in 7 years. Tripled to.
Just so you know, it does that everywhere. Unfortunately, even in Ohio. Okay.
Right. And my taxes
is doubled. Yeah.
My taxes also tripled. So I am paying $2,500 a month for those 2 things. My mortgage is $1,000. So and then if I went to buy a new house, of course, the homestead's going to be okay for me. And Florida's trying to pass this new thing. I don't know if you have it where you are, that if you're over 65, you do not pay taxes. And even Trump is talking about this completely eliminating house taxes by raising up the sales tax Is that true at any other place than
Well,
Florida?
Ohio is actually the only state that actually put it on the ballot to repeal property taxes, what you're talking about.
Yes.
Florida by far has much, much better tax laws than pretty much any place else in the country. That's why all the billionaires are moving there.
Well, and yeah, the big thing is that we've got tourism that pays all the money, right? We got Russian bots that are buying properties here. So the downside,
well, I mean, there's not that on the coasts in Florida. That's the case, but through the middle of the state, there's still lots of things that are happening. Even in the good side, like if you go over to Sanibel and Fort Myers, those houses are getting whacked in terms of so it's different. Part of the problem is Florida, no one really has a job. They're all getting paid on sunshine. So they don't
paid
really
on sunshine. I love that. I love that. That's exactly it. Get paid on
and
sunshine.
They used to have the income was deficient down there because of that, because people would take less money to live in the sunshine. So
and one of the rules for the rich folks that come down here is that they can take everything that you've got. You know, if you go to court and they somehow sue the heck out of you, but they can't take your house.
Florida is the only state that actually has full protection for that.
Wow. And of course, that's why Mar-a-Lago is down here, baby.
Actually, it started with the president of MCI in 1993 or 4. And they knew that he was going to go bankrupt. And so he built a $40 million house in Miami, which the most expensive house in Florida at that time hadn't gone over $10 million. So he knew.
My God.
He still
actually Bezos is down here. Yeah, Bezos is down here. Everybody's got a house down here, you know?
Well, that has to do with income tax.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because the people coming down here to visit, you leave all your money down here and you pay our taxes, basically.
As long as you're 6 months and 1 day.
6 months and 1 day. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
All right. That's why the Canadians come down here and they move into those trailers that nobody's
allowed. No. They don't get any of that benefit because their tax laws are completely different.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a big deal. In fact, Ohio is the largest non-contiguous movement. There's 1.7 million people that live in Florida that started out in Ohio, and that's the largest non-contiguous state movement there is, and almost always is.
Oh, this is great, Bob. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on to property matching alerts and automated search. It's saying level 3. That means all AI. Is that true? And tell me what that is.
Everybody's doing that. I mean, basically, you can structure that very easily. But here's the thing. The AI doesn't have discernibility. It doesn't know that there's a railroad across the street from it. It doesn't give you the ability to, that's an ugly greenhouse that has the worst floor plan ever. It doesn't make those so we don't give it that discernibility, okay? And then there's other things that really are human related that can never be replaced. They're called smells and looks and taste.
Yes.
Like, if you go into a house listed that I called the curry house, where it literally felt like the curry was pulsating at you when you're in the house, to the point where when you walked in the house, it felt like somebody smacked you. It was like, wow. Holy
I remember my dad going to buy a house in Gainesville, and so it was right on the golf course. And my dad was like, "Oh man, we got to buy." It was a gorgeous house. They go into it, and they had to do a disclosure that the woman was killed in the bathtub by her husband.
Cool.
And then my mom, dead. Right. So it was just, and you have to disclose that. I guess that's a law. Is it everywhere?
It depends upon your state. Okay.
Well, Florida it was, right. And of course, as soon as my sisters found this, I was like 15 years old at the time, right? My sisters heard that. My mom heard that, and they said, "We ain't going in here. We don't want any Ghostbusters." You know.
So I've actually studied that and the stigmatism behind that. And because my market is still so strong, that it used to be that it would have to take at least 1 or 2 cycles, meaning 10 to 20 years to go through. It doesn't matter anymore. If the blood's still there, we'll take it.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, and then my dad was a smoker, and so was my mom for a long time. He ended up at the end of his life getting really healthy, like kind of what I'm doing right now. And he had type 2 diabetes and everything, and he got over it, you know. So, and then he fell in the pool. That's how he ended up dying, oddly enough. I'm not going near that pool if I'm dizzy or whatever. But anyway, so the point being that everything's just the drench and the smell, right? We had a house that I looked at, getting ready to buy it. Next door neighbor had cars on jacks in the back. He had a complete, and you could call up the city and get that taken care of probably, but Yeah, so the human in the loop is super important, right? I mean, that's why I paid always. Shout out to Sean if you're listening to this one. He's been my realtor on 4 houses, bought and sold. Fantastic guy, and he's the one looking out for me for the things that he knows about, because you've been doing this 30 years, so you know what to look for, where the bodies are buried, literally, right? So that advice is really worthwhile, and there's a lot of times where you can
only 15% of the world uses the same realtor more than once.
Oh, really?
Yep, statistically.
Well,
you have an 85% chance of using somebody else. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But the main reason is the turnover in real estate, the lack of, the people, they starve between then. And now the turnover, when I first started, the average cycle, meaning that you went from your first house to your second house, was 7 years. Now it's 16. Yep.
So wow. Well, I'm on the 7-year plan. I'm on the 7. We stayed in one house for 20 years.
Well, now look at the average first-time home buyer is 41 years old.
Whoa! So what did it used to be?
Time one is 62.
What did it used to be? 20s, 30s?
Oh, it was 20, 27, 26. Okay.
So the Gen Z generation not being able to afford a house, moving in with the parents is a real thing, huh?
I also think that it's the fact that the culture changed and they didn't care. There was a whole bunch of people that thought, we don't need a house, we don't care.
Oh, okay. Did the pandemic have something to do with that?
That totally changed it the opposite way when they decided they hated living in their apartment because that's the only thing they had, and they didn't have a yard, and they didn't want to go into an elevator where there'd be some other human you'd have to be with. So if you go look, what I see with that is most big cities, Chicago is probably the best example of that. Any place that you have a large condo complex or the large people go into like elevators, those have gotten really the appreciation stopped and it's gone down. Those are losing propositions. In fact, if you look, even in my city in Columbus, I just had a person to buy a condo 22 years ago and paid $705,000 for it and just sold it for $650 and was happy.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they're upside down. So I had a couple of those cases. And let's get to number 7.
Else in my market though.
Huh.
That's only downtown. That's only in the downtown area.
Okay.
So in the suburbs where you get a yard and you don't have to worry about killing people, it's different.
Huh. Okay. So let's go to closing and handling. So that's number 1, all human, right? You want to be there. I got a bottle of champagne and some flowers every time that we're in the house.
That's a mistake all the way around. If you're asking for my opinion, what does your doctor give you champagne or flowers, or does your accountant show up? Or does your attorney give you any type of gift? I think
don't you do anything nice for them? Do you go with them to open up the door, or you just hand them the keys? You're done.
Well, first of all, if I go to the closing, the reason I'm going to the closing is to make sure that it happens. Okay. What documentation that they got in advance was what they thought they were going to get. I'm not an attorney. I'm not there to represent them. I don't need to be there. My job was done and the contract was signed. Okay. And if anything, ironically, most attorneys would tell you don't go to the closing.
Oh, okay. So let the closing agent take care of that, because they're the one trained in all the details and
you're slowing down the process.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Because I have been to closings and a couple of people. There were 2 things that I'm actually kind of curious, because these were use cases that I heard from other people. One was people pulling guns on each other at the closing. That happened a couple of times.
I've seen people get in fights. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one was the transfer of the down payment got hacked. So they did a wire transfer and it got hacked and the money never got there.
And then they didn't buy a house.
Right. So they're doing more security. Is there more security on that kind of end? This is not
there's a lot more. The whole blockchain kind of changed that. The way that once you're in contract, the way the title company, tries to do it, because there's some really slick people out there trying to get in between it. And there's some really aggressive. The biggest scam that I see right now that's happening is somebody will go and pull a property that is like a vacant piece of land and pretend like they're the owner of it and they're out of state and they want to get rid of it. And they've got driver's licenses. They've got insurance cards. They have,
does AI make that worse? So the internet made that worse. Does AI make it even more
my
worse?
brokerage they have an auditing team now because of this, and it's like, wait a minute, who's paying for that crap?
Yeah. So, in fact, we're gonna move through these next two. So we've got contract negotiation. So a friend of mine started a company called Contract to Close. So she's the one that picks up, right? The contract goes to the closing, make sure all that does. Title company, yeah. Well, she created a company that's separate because she was a realtor all her life, and she didn't like selling, and she wanted to get to the end part, and she wanted to assist. So she gets hired by a realtor to have a really smooth transition. I mean, this is for she was doing $10 million, $20 million houses and stuff. All right, so contract negotiation strategies, human in the strategy loop, figuring out how much you can afford, etc. Home showings and tours. Okay, so let's get to what I did. So I'm not going to play this. I'll play a short bit of it just to see if you agree with what it says.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are talking about one of the biggest shakeups in real estate, period. We're looking at how artificial intelligence is completely changing the game for agents all across the US, literally transforming every single piece of a deal. So you got to ask the big question right off the bat. Can a robot actually sell a house? Well, the short answer, nope, not a chance. But the real story is so much more interesting. You see, AI isn't here to replace agents. It's becoming their new secret weapon, their partner that handles all the grunt work so they can focus on what humans do best, building relationships and, actually closing deals. And look, this isn't some sci-fi fantasy set way off in the future. We're talking about right now. AI adoption in real estate is set to just explode, going from about 36% today to a wild 90% by 2030. This is a massive wave, and honestly, figuring out how to ride it isn't really an option anymore. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to follow the life of a deal from start to finish.
Okay, I'm going to kind of stop there, but oh shoot, didn't go to the place. The 6 steps, let me see if I can find it. There we go. AI revolution before the sale, during the sale, after the sale, future ready agent. Okay, so now we can go on. So what I did is I did this in Notebook LM. I loaded up everything I could find. What I was literally looking for is where AI applications, drones, etc., where do they step in? And so I'm going to walk you through them, and stop me anytime you like if you've got an idea or thought process. So before the sale, you've got predictive marketing analytics, you got virtual staging, 3D tours, you got Matterport. We'll kind of take a look at that. During, you've got everything from chatbots to contracts and automation and drop sign. Oh, a DocuSign and things like that, which is not necessarily AI, but that certainly made a process a little bit easier. And then this is the Notebook LM. This is the infographic that I created. So I'm getting pretty good at telling it I want 9 different things and 9 different ways that it does it, and then give me photorealistic renderings of this. So this is what I did with Notebook LM, and I'm going to give this to you as well. And as part of this show, all of this is going to be in the notes, and I'm going to give everyone access to the Notebook LM that I produced this in. And what I'd love to do with you later on, Bob, is have you back and see what the future looks like even a year from now or 6 months from now, to see if any of these are actually helping you and where it fits in. I also have 3 other people that I'd like to introduce. Anna Kunin, who's, I forget, she's like in the 3rd largest, I think she made $2 million last year in just her own sales, and sells, every house in South Florida. She's been on the TV shows, all the Channel 6, I think she's a consultant for them. Anyway, so I'm going to try to do that. So here's some of the tools. So there's a link down there to the Google Notebook LM, and I'll definitely give that to you after the show because I want to get your feedback. So I know nothing about, what my point here is, I know nothing about real estate except having bought and sold 9 houses, which is a lot, I guess. So I have experienced. So I'm not stupid. So this is my research. I think I ended up with 120 different points of research. And a lot of it was YouTube videos, but a lot of them was just sales stuff. And then I produced a bunch of stuff, and you're going to see all of it here. So this is what Notebook LM, for those, and I've done courses on this. You load up all the stuff that you can have. So you're generating content aware stuff. Then you go into the center section, which is Gemini, so you can chat about it. And then you go say, what do I want as output? So all the stuff you're about to see is output. One of the ways that I do it, and I was using, and in the future I'm going to be using Google's new Chrome, right, is I went to, this is in Perplexity. I said, give me the URLs for all of the stuff. So search results for real estate agents, ROI for 2025. And it came up with all these links. So there's the links, right? Copy and paste that into Notebook LM that ingests everything. Then I have these things that I'm trying to do. And then here's the top 25 AI tools. I was mostly talking just about tools. Then this is lead generation for AI content marketing, property visualization, drones and virtual tours, valuation analysis and operations. These were the 4 pieces. Then Notebook LM now has, which is beautiful, they have the ability to put in and create an actual Excel spreadsheet. So here you are, Google Sheets. So here's all the different 10 different tools that I found out there. Here's what they do. So ChatGPT, Convin, Matterport. See if you know these, the names of these things, if at all. And then human in the loop is obviously what we're doing. So here's another infographic. And then, so the first one's Smart Zip. You okay there, Bob?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My dog just came in. So.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's your dog's name?
This one's Reese, and she has to be on me. So. Okay.
Is Reese from the Terminator movie, or?
No. That would be good. Yeah. No, my dogs are litter mates, Reese and Riley. So.
Cool. Oh, both are sci-fi names, right? Okay, so I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because we kind of showed them last week. But Smart Zip was the first one. So I'm saying, for those of you trying to make Notebook LMs on any of these things, I say, give me a photograph that metaphorically and allegorically tell the story of what this tool does in a visual framework that explains what it does. In the bottom right-hand corner, make a block box with 10 to 12 point type, sans serif, with the name of the tool and information about it and the URL. So that's how I got here, right? So I just loaded up, and this is what I do with everything. So if I'm trying to find out how to change the, a car engine or something, right? And then this one's listingai.io. Are any of these sound familiar to you?
No. I know about Canary, but I don't use any of that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Base 44. You don't use them because you don't feel they're efficacious for your.
Well, I don't know that they even existed until you just said it right now. So I don't.
Oh, okay.
There are so many things that people are trying to sell right now to, especially realtors.
Well, and that's kind of what I want to do, because so my goal, when we've been talking for like a year, I think, when we first talked and stuff, my goal is I would like to work with you and go do presentation to realtors, but to vet out all of these tools. So we hand them a sheet. Here you go. Here's all the links you need to know. Here's how it works. So then we do research for them. So do a research, be a consultant to realtors is kind of a thought, if you wanted to.
I'm actually trying to do that. I don't want to buy and sell real estate anymore. I'm going to be an advisor.
Yep. There you go. So Giraffe 360, have you used this at all?
No. The Matterports are pretty good. Here's the problem. If you price the house right and you effectively make the house conditionally right, you don't need to do any of this other stuff. Okay.
Yes. Agreed.
Nothing you can do from all this digital stuff will overcome an overpriced house or a poor condition.
Yes. Okay? No, I get that. But this is the edge, right? This is the 10% where you get
it's like a shovel. Okay. And sometimes the best way to use a shovel is to pound somebody in the face with it. Okay. So these tools are great. Like Matterport. I mean, I had a client complain because have you used Matterport before?
I have not used any of these tools, so I'm just.
Okay, so it's really good. And it's really cool. Actually, I met the people that started this when I was in the photo booth world.
I've actually done walkthroughs using what I guess was Matterport, because it looked just like this.
Yeah, they're very awkward for people to. So and they're not inexpensive.
Of course, this is the worst. This is the worst it's ever going to be. So these will get cheaper and cheaper. In fact, I just saw one recently that was a hand-sized drone you send through the house, and it does all this using splattering. Splatting, right? And then it does everything. So okay.
So my point, Rick, is I have to be conscious of what costs are and what's effective.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And until these are a proven tool that makes my shovel work better, This is just another shovel. Okay.
So the thing about AI is,
because part of this is, if I have a house listed, there are sometimes that, first of all, pictures are what really are important for the world of the internet. Okay. But that particular thing there shows everything. And I don't want that necessarily to be the case. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, if you do a Matterport inside the house, it gives you everything in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's overwhelming for most people. Okay.
Yes. Everything is getting faster, better, cheaper. That's the goal of every technology ever, forever. And this is the worst it's ever going to be.
Right.
I mean, faster, better, cheaper is also the rules for post-labor economics. It means when it's faster, better than cheaper than you are, Bob, I'm sorry, you're out of a job. I mean, that's kind of where we're all headed in the next 10 years, So anyway, except for the human in the loop, which I would suggest.
So, and here's
all
the
I'm
thing.
doing is,
and I don't think that will ever be substituted, because there's three things that are critical, in my opinion, in order for that transaction to be a human make it happen. Okay.
Yes.
They have to know you.
Yep.
They have to have some like of you. They don't want to feel that they don't like you.
That's Sean. Sean's my man. 7 houses.
So, but you've got to be able to have all 3 of those.
4 houses.
If you don't, then you don't get it. So
okay. So I used Perplexity when I was selling my house to do comps and that kind of stuff. So this was useful to me. I'm not trying to give anything away. This one, Convin, what does that do exactly?
I have no idea. You're the one that picked it.
Oh, okay. So it's evidently an instant response. So it's a 24/7 on your website. And the next one I'm showing you is HeyGen, which their realtors are actually using to make customized videos per house.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, you are doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
What are your tools?
So one of the things I'm doing is I'm taking the HeyGen system and writing specific content for people that are houses that have expired, their houses for sale, and it didn't happen. And so my goal is to have this outreach program, and it's going to be me as a clearinghouse picking their house. So it's not every house in the market. And then I'm going to discern to them what's going on. And my goal is to get a phone call or a Zoom call for 15 minutes to set them up with an agent. Okay.
Right.
And they're only going to get one agent. They're not going to get, the average Zillow is 11 agents per lead. Okay.
Wow.
We're only one highly spec, and there's no, so like,
and that gets me pissed off because I keep getting calls, right?
Everybody on my approved list has 15 years in, does $20 million a year in business.
There you go.
There are real people that are in my office. 7% of the people do 92% of the business.
That's it.
So here's the thing. I don't really care about everybody. I care about specific people. Okay.
Yes.
But gotcha. So I'm really into the HeyGen. I'm really I'm even looking at, I have my own digital avatar, and I'm deciding how to test it versus having one of the personality ones. So, but that's gotten a lot better. Even in the last year, that technology is
this last week, I think 11 Labs in conjunction with HeyGen is much more natural, because the old ones, you can use somebody else's, but to get your nuance and your background info and your sort of way of speaking too. So you can script.
And also the fact that it can now be, that's really cool, because you, like, we have a city called Lima, which everywhere else in the world is called Lima, or Gahanna, which is Gahanna. We have the Scioto River, and it's pronounced Scotia everywhere else. But if you're from here, we have the Olentangy, but it's the Olentangy is how it's spelled.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
There's a lot.
You can't just feed it a script. It's not going to work out right.
Well, it's a perfect example. HeyGen is a perfect example of that. If you say HeyGen, it doesn't write HeyGen, and it doesn't pass. So they actually now have gotten that, so you can actually change individual words even.
Oh, okay. So you build a library. You've known words.
Now it has. It's only on a specific case binary, meaning that I got to go back and change it. It doesn't keep it all the way across.
Yeah. So, but you could feed it a script that you could just change those, and that becomes so in the early days of spell check, right? You had a doctor term or a lawyer term. You had to add your own little notebook. So this is basically, if you're sending a script over, to use your voice and your physicality even, right? And your emotionality context, which is where we're at. I mean, these things are really getting good. Then loading it up with a dictionary full of words that are phonetically spoken the way you speak it in the local dialect is brilliant. So that's there now.
And the other thing is that So originally I was going to go out and make the videos and edit them and do all that, and the time and the effort.
Oh God,
it was awful.
Yes.
So now I can do this through the HeyGen stuff, and now they actually have one that you just basically type it in, and you can put your avatar in, and it'll even run the B-roll behind you.
Oh man, that's cool. So could you put your Matterport behind you and show the person through the house?
I guess you potentially could.
Maybe next year. Next year, right? Okay.
Matterports are cool. More difficult. There's better way. There's videos that would be better. You could have a video drone if you're trying to show it.
Gotcha.
My goal is not necessarily to tour the houses, because I don't think people really need you to be talking about the house.
Right. In fact, they get. Yeah, I've always been annoyed by that. So
right.
And
the comments that make it irrelevant.
I'd rather have her show me through your house than you, Bob. Nothing personal.
No, and that's one of the things I'm testing right now is we're looking at the avatars to see, even down to a lot of the people that expired are not born in the U.S. and we're looking to see if they relate better to a person that's from their nationality. We're guessing it based upon
and do you have a population of different languages? Down here we got Spanish and Creole for sure.
We have a huge Indian population and a huge Chinese population, and we have a fairly decent Japanese population. But there's a community that in our market that has 25 or 30% of Indian and Chinese. Wow.
So are they speaking English in your transactions, or are you using any
everybody speaks English. They all speak English.
Well, yeah, but not in South Florida. I walked through the entire airport.
That's not the same thing. Those are not people. Right. Those are people that moved here by proximity. These are people that moved here for jobs, for they're highly educated. They're not. Okay. They didn't swim here. Okay.
Yeah.
They have the three things that I think that require you to be successful. If you want to know what those are, I'll share them.
Sure.
If you're an immigrant, you have the brains to get here. Okay.
Sure.
If you got here, you have the balls or the chutzpah to make it happen. Okay.
Yes.
And the third thing that every single one of them has is they have some kind of financial backing, because it's not that easy or that cheap to get here. Okay.
So my point was more like Apple has it now, so it's instantaneous translation to any language.
Yeah,
and
so
back and forth.
Right. And I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to do that because I don't want to be trying to pretend like I speak Hindi or Mandarin. Okay.
Right.
I know enough to get by, but it doesn't mean that I can have a person that looks like them. Okay.
Right.
Because half the time those people speak better English than I do anyway.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
But if they look like the person that they're contacting, that might work. I'm trying to still figure out how that transition works, because I'm trying to remove me from the equation and have the process be, my goal is to have an advisory capacity that says, hey, look, here's how we hire the agents. Here's your house. Here's who you should use. Okay. And how we get paid is they pay us a referral fee for you getting
gotcha.
If they don't, I don't get paid. You don't get paid. Nobody does.
The other thing is it's not going to be,
you're going to get one person. We're not sending you 10. And if you don't like it, hang up or shut up on them, and we're done. We're not ever contacting you again. We picked you. If it doesn't work out, then we're done.
Right.
Okay. We go on to the next one.
So you're going to higher level efficiencies of process, and you're okay with taking your humanness out of it by using tools that amplify your profitability too. Yeah.
Well, my goal is to do it because what I see is there's going to be a huge market. Our market is just finally doing it. Your market would be amazing with expired and withdrawals are probably 30 or 40% of your market. And those are people that have raised their hand and are willing to pay a commission and willing to hire a realtor. It's just a question of what did they do wrong? Okay. Because houses still sell. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next one here. So what I'm hearing so far is you seem to be really excited about HeyGen, which I think is interesting. It's for your use case. And I don't want you to give out too much of your proprietary, because I want you to be successful doing exactly what you're suggesting.
I have no problem sharing it, because no one's ever going to. Part of the reason why no one is successful is
nobody's you, huh?
Right. And they're not doing the fruition, meaning that they can talk about it all day until they do it. It doesn't matter. My goal is to be able to prove that this works in Columbus, Ohio, and be able to do it in other places. Okay. And then I'm going to sell that process, and I'm going to get a referral fee for doing that. And then I don't have to worry about buying or selling houses, and I can do it in my underwear here in Ohio in the middle of winter and not have to go outside to put another sign in the yard.
There you go.
Deal directly with the person and show them 43 houses.
Yeah. So House Canary is leveraging, so getting a pinpoint actually what it's worth and, what are the comps and going back in history, et cetera.
I've not found any of those places to have, and I don't know that one specifically that can give you.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, that's all hypothetical. They don't know that those people had a dog and it defecated all over the house. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I got you.
Decided that they played hockey inside the house. Okay.
Oh yeah. There was a house that was foreclosure and they put concrete in all the toilets.
I'm talking about regular, normal people where you're like,
yeah.
I know. You don't know
that's
that.
right. Okay. All right. So moving right along.
Virtual staging is really easy. I don't use that because, believe it or not, you can get ChatGPT or Banana do it beautifully, and it doesn't.
Oh, that's what this is.
This
is an app, but you don't need that. Nana Banana's got this.
And here's the other thing.
You could photograph their furniture and put it in the new house. Actually, that's
and here's the thing. I don't want. So here's the thing: the realtors get all mixed up on. You're not selling furniture,
right?
Okay. So
you're still selling a feeling, though.
You are, but the problem is I think houses look bigger and sell faster and have more theoretical motivation when there's nobody in them and the house is empty. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, you take off the emotional stuff. So you take down the personal pictures right away.
Well, so but you can't believe how people feel that that's intrinsic to their house and that they don't, you have to
the personality.
Eliminate your personality to the house. You have to make it.
Yeah. So every single time, that's been number one thing. Take all your pictures down. Take your dirty laundry, put it away. And cook some cookies or whatever. All right. So going on to Home Jab.
Brandon, you wanted to jump in there?
I know I just wanted to give Rick a quick time check because I know I wanted to talk about Lovable and we're coming up on the bottom of the hour here.
Yeah, I think we're going to be. I'm going to try to get through this last bit. So, removing stuff, Canva, Restep. This is interesting. Analyzes property photos, identify features, and auto generates SEO, optimize listing descriptions. I thought that was kind of cool. And then Canva and Magic Design. Now you've got Canva plugged into ChatGPT. So you literally could give it the listing and then you could have your branding put onto it and make a PDF and send it to your clients.
I use that.
Are you using printing at all? Are you printing anything? Or
what is printing?
Printing on paper, like hand them the.
No, in fact, I won't because I think that's a waste because everybody has a phone in their hand.
No use in killing trees, right? Okay.
I'm okay with it as long as if I'm sending mail, that's a lead piece we're going to do. But generally speaking, we don't print brochures.
Okay. All right. So Snap It. Now, what's interesting here is there's a lot of scams, including altered documents, etc. Have you used any kind of security on that end of it,
or you're no reason to do that? I don't
because you're not at that closing.
Well,
thing, right?
That has nothing to do with me. Yeah, those are not.
Whisperflow, I've used that. If you're going to use ChatGPT or any of them consistently and you're using your voice to activate it, a lot of times the information gets wrong because it's writing it down wrong, especially if you have technical terms. So Whisperflow, a good investment, although it's a little expensive. I think Apple's supposed to be coming out with a better one coming up soon.
I don't have any problem with ChatGPT. I talk to it all the time.
Yeah. I've had some technical terms that I tried. And then offer and comparison analysis. I would not use Manus for this. In fact, I'm not.
I like Manus. It definitely does things differently.
They spelled it wrong here.
The deep research it does, and it definitely looks at things in a different opinion. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty much ChatGPT and Gemini, Google.
I'm moving all Google. I mean, I've spent so much time. The downside of it, two things that Google has to fix. They got to have project folders because I don't want my real estate stuff getting messed up with my childcare, whatever. And they've got to fix the context menu. Memory is so large in Gemini that it actually has the same kind of context window. Claude can still write the pants off of. If you got a love letter, give it to Claude. You got to.
Ironically, I did try with Notebook. Does Notebook LM? I'm on the free version. Does it have a cap based upon the amount of data I can put in?
It's 20 megabytes each content.
Because I was trying to give it a lot of real estate data, and it wouldn't take it.
Yeah, pay the $20. You got the whole ecosystem of Google. Pay the $20 a month and get the AI plan, not the hard drive plan. $20, $20. So it's the price of a pizza. And yeah, I'll sit with you later on if you want to. And or if you have a group of realtors, let's do a seminar and show you exactly how I do all this stuff. This one I thought was kind of cool. I found somebody else did this. But here's property surveys, which I've had troubles with in the past. Understanding it. I'm also using it right now to do. I'm taking a property survey and then doing my entire backyard over with plants and stuff. So, and what my legal things, put a shed in, that kind of stuff. So I found this kind of interesting. But this is True Title of Central Florida that put this out there using Google Notebook LM. And then this is another deck that I ran. And then I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Bob, man. This has been fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
thanks, Bob, for coming out.
I want to have you come back in a couple of months. And, you know, our foundations are business, education, arts, and how to leverage AI in your everyday life to have a better life. And so we're trying to add value to the world. That's what we do here at AITV. I am Brandon, been at this for now the 23rd episode. And now we're going to talk about how we do this in the love world. So
thanks, Bob.
Do we want to do
30 minutes to master, tools to explore, let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCarley, where your digital dreams come true.
One ignition.
get the lovable drop in there?
Yeah, we'll get it in. I didn't see it before the show in the backstage, but
okay.
We'll fix it in post.
Okay.
But yeah, so Lovable, we've done tool time mission tools on Lovable previously, so that's in the archives. But Lovable yesterday announced a smarter Lovable. So building more, managing less, a 71% improvement in solving complex tasks. And so put this together. I'll be honest, we're going to build in public. I took the press release of what they did yesterday and gave it to Gemini, opened up Canvas mode in Gemini and said, build me a slide presentation. And this is in one shot. This is the presentation that it came up with. But this is important. If you're thinking Lovable, that's that vibe coding platform. Microsoft just announced yesterday a new job description for another role within their ecosystem. But one of the qualifications, one of the skills that they look for is now vibe coding experience. Do you have experience in rapid prototyping with a vibe coding tool like Windsurf or Opus or Lovable? And so, this is starting to become a real thing for the tech stack. And so we're going to just jump in here to talk about the evolution of building. So this is, if you've done any kind of vibe coding, the old way is going to sound very familiar, constantly reviewing every small change, spending hours back and forth communication, micromanaging the AI to keep it on track. There was so many horror experiences of, can you change the background color? And it erases the entire application. Well, I changed the background color. I'm like, but I didn't tell you to erase everything. The new way of doing it with the Lovable Smarter Agent is autonomous execution of complex vision, hand off the bigger picture and trust the process, focus on growth while the details are handled. So talking about more of an agentic experience coming to the Lovable back and forth conversational AI component. And so the first thing that they're introducing yesterday is plan mode. So we're going to hand off the big stuff. Jumping straight into code is problematic. So they've always had that chat version for a while now where you could chat before you've gone in and editing the code. We're taking that a step further now where we're allowing the plan mode changes to map out features in detail before a single line of code is written. It's going to ask you clarifying questions. This is new. It's going to come back to you and say, I think this is what you want, but let me make sure before I do it the wrong way. Is this really what you want?
Yeah.
and then creating
I
a
love that.
comprehensive blueprint for your review and approval. And when you implement the plan, then it goes to work and does the things. So prompt queuing is another game changer that's coming. You're going to like this one. This is very dangerous for your dangerous mind, where you can, ideas don't wait, where you can queue up multiple prompts and let Lovable hand them in the background. And
nice.
then reprioritize them so you can reorder your task queue to focus on the fly, to focus on what matters. So if you want to move things around in the backlog.
Man, we've got to make this whole TV show lovable. You know, I think we should do AITV show lovable, and that's the whole show. We spend 2 hours and we don't get out of there until we got a website. We got these decks. We got our news stories lined up for us. And I know we're there, right? We literally could do that.
And
it would probably.
And we're talking about having a hackathon. We're having a couple of hackathons coming up here this spring.
Yeah.
So details coming soon. But the other thing that it's doing is async flow. So you can collaborate without the bottlenecks. So I know this was one of the things that we discovered in our hackathon when I was down with you in Miami, is we had to wait for the AI, especially when we were all collaborating together. Oscar was in there working out a prompt. You were in there working out a design. We had to wait for the other person to finish before
take a turn.
We could do it. No more. Yep. Collaborate without bottlenecks. Keep feeding the instructions without waiting for the current task to finish.
So remind people, we're doing Hello USA. I was designing all the interface elements. Oscar was creating databases, like information going in, and then you were putting it together and creating a chatbot and putting it all together. So you were kind of in there most of the time, and then you'd like hand it off, and we'd use one computer, and then we finally got it figured out. So now it's asynchronous.
Yeah, so you can collaborate on Lovable.
I could be doing my design, and then it updates the color palette for your. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's the worst it's ever was is today, and it's gonna get great right now. I love it.
Yeah, and this is something that I had a feeling it always kind of did in the background, but now they're actually putting it forward, is automated testing. So Lovable isn't building anymore. It's doing QA, and it's testing an app like a real. It fills out the forms, clicks menus. So we're starting to see more of that agentic behavior. But what it's doing is it's validating, like, did this form, when I clicked on this button, did it go to the page that it's supposed to go to? And it finds a bug or an edge case, it investigates it and fixes it on the spot. So you review the production-ready work, not broken drafts.
Perfect.
So seamless authentication. A big one that we've struggled with, even with Hello USA, was getting the auth to work properly. Google sign in one prompt. So you can just say, hey, sign in with Google to this web page, and it'll just do it. Zero configuration headaches, instant trust for your users, available now in the Lovable Cloud.
So is Lovable able to coordinate with ChatGPT and all the other things, APIs and whatever? Does it orchestrate all that for
Gemini. Lovable Cloud uses Supabase on the back end and the Gemini product for cloud. So it can use Nano Banana.
So that's AWS. Is that what they have? AWS? No, that's Amazon.
That's Amazon. No, they're using Google. Yeah, they're using Google.
Cool.
They're using Google and Supabase, and the end result is if you just enable Lovable Cloud on your project, it handles all of that configuration for you. You don't have to touch a line of code. And it's better at complex tasks. And this is where that 71% comes in. So the combination of planning mode, better context management, automated testing has made Lovable significantly more autonomous, allowing you to spend less time debugging and more time building. So you start building today, you log on to Lovable for the new autonomous features, lovable.dev. We'll put links in the show notes. But I think the folks here are maybe even sourced my images for me. But so Rick and I were talking, Valentine's Day is coming up next month. Yeah. And we want to build something lovable for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And so I'm going to go ahead and share this screen now. And so Rick and I were talking about a Valentine's Day story to AI card experience. So an AI card generator. And so I've got a prompt queued up here, but Rick, I wanted to talk through with you before we actually hit go on this.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah.
want to create a fun, fast, emotionally resonant Valentine's Day website where users submit a memorable Valentine's Day story and receive a shareable AI-generated Valentine's card that reframes the moment with humor, insight, or warmth. Playful experience, validating, low pressure while producing a tangible artifact that the users want to share. So
I love this. Singles, couple, and it's complicated. I love it. Funny, awkward,
Yep, people with funny, awkward,
or
chaotic, or unexpectedly sweet Valentine's stories.
Okay.
And so it goes through all of the product requirements. And I had ChatGPT build out this what's called a PRD, a product requirements document. And now you can technically at Lovable inside of ChatGPT, but I've got it here. So we're just going to hit go on this. And it's going to spin up a new project space
just
for
to
us.
let people, if you're watching this, we literally have not coordinated any of this. In fact, we're ill prepared as you can be. But my God!
But I think Lovable is going to take care of this for us.
Yeah, and Brandon has a ton of experience using Lovable, and he's also worked for them. I guess you're a rep for them, or
I'm an ambassador.
Mm-hmm. Ambassador, right? The way I am for Adobe products. So he's definitely inside.
And I'm also,
is there any kind of code you can give people that want to try this out, or is there that kind of thing?
Yeah, actually, I do have a referral code. So
because we want to make you some money and let them know that what's going on there and save some bucks. And I'm sure in the future we'll probably do a workshop because I think you've just got this down to a science, and
it's a really complicated code, promo code. You're going to want to write it down. Right. It's lovable.dev via Brandon-Tid. So if you know my name.
Okay, there you go. Say my name. There you go. Fantastic.
Yeah. And so what this is doing now is it's taking that product requirements documentation and editing and building in the V1 of this website. And so now it's editing
warm
the
coral
love stages.
Primary cream backgrounds. Okay, I'm looking at the color palette because the design thing is what the. So I like the deep burgundy. That's fantastic. Cream backgrounds. That's nice. Elegant. Okay, serif. Nice. Exactly what I would have done. Okay, so that's cool. I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, remember we built Hello USA using ChatGPT. So it's it's learned. You've taught my ChatGPT a thing or two about design.
Yeah, there you go.
So while this finishes up building, Rick, do you want to key up what you have planned with Aria in the next couple of weeks for our Valentine's Day show?
Yes, in the next couple of weeks. So finding Aria is a search where I went out. I'm a single guy. I'm 66 years old. It's kind of hard to find real love in an artificial world is the idea. And I'm going to be doing this over the next year. So I'm actually looking for love. So I want you, if you are a single woman of age, any 45 is the lowest I'd go, maybe 50. You need to be educated. You got to be able to talk about, and you got to be okay with a man who's crazy about AI, a photojournalist, an amazing world person. So me, right? So I'm putting myself out there. And this is what I created by just basically talking to Claude for a couple of hours. And then I said at the end of it, this is my success. And I've been married twice to two extraordinary women. Nothing but love for both of them and nothing but just like spectacular memories, including two children, 28 and 30 years old, Ben and Laura. And so I'm looking for my next. I'm looking for the person to spend the rest of my life, my golden years, travel the planet. I'm going to retire next year. I've decided 67 and a half is my time. And I'm going to go do what I'm meant to do. And I'm going to be keeping on with all of my giant projects, including that Imagine. So if you want to join me in putting the Statue of Liberty called Imagine on the West Coast, and you want to do big projects like that, and you want to change the world, if you're a dangerous woman, call me. You know my name, Rick McCauley. You can find me at rickmccauley@gmail. I'm literally asking you to call me. Let's do a date. I'm going to be talking about, just briefly, and no kiss and tell stuff, but about what my journey ends up looking like over the next year, because I really do. I am a serial monogamist in many ways. So one of the things I did just for fun is to, when you say you love someone, and I've had this problem with the girlfriends I've had recently, is the word love slips off my tongue very easily, because I love, I love my cat. I love a good hamburger. I love, a good pizza. So how do we define that? So the Eskimos have a lot of words for it. So what I suggested here is I just asked, I asked Gemini and of course Nana Banana to go ahead and kind of mark that up for me. And so to show me what that looks like. So 5 levels. I'll take a grenade for you. I'll put a ring on it. Can't wait to see you. I'll move furniture for you. I had a couple of girlfriends right now. I would move furniture for them and travel to the other parts of the country to do it. If you're on the line right now, I'm willing to do that. And then, is it a situationship? That's a new term that the youngins use out there, right? So I want to give you some fun in doing this. So I started my suggestions to you by next week. I'd like you to because we're going to have a place for you to share your stories. I'm going to invite 5 people on the show to share their stories, and we're going to play an AI game where we ask it questions and we each pick a story to tell. In fact, we might even find the love of our lives. So get online and watch it live, and then we're going to put ourselves out there, the people that are the dangerous ones that want to find love, because don't we all? So there's 5 things that I'm going to talk about in this whole process. And first is discover your love languages. So what are those? Unpack your past. Let's get it fixed so you don't bring baggage to the new thing. That's just sad. And craft your love compass. Figure out what you want, what you're looking for. I don't want a young kid that's never been anywhere. I want someone that I can, I've been to Paris and she's been with me and she shows me a part of Paris that I never went to in my 20 trips to Paris and my 3 years that I spent living there. And it's never been to anywhere, so I don't mind showing people around, and I don't mind if they're a scuba diver, fantastic. If they're a photographer, if they're in AI these days, that's got to be a thing for me, right? So I want other people to tell me this story. In fact, we've got a 20-year-old young man who's a cousin of my roommate who's going to share today's kind of perspective. I had a 3-hour conversation with him, and this man's got it going on, but today is a different world than what it was when I was looking for it. I'm not looking to have kids. I got a vasectomy. I'm out of that game altogether. Not that any woman I would date could have children, but that's possible, I guess. Sneaky smart first date questions. So what can you ask to find out what you don't want? How do you put red flags up while you're on the date? Those are great questions to know. And I want you to start thinking about these 5 things as you prepare for coming on the show. Maybe envision your home and peace. What does it look like? So for me, stop looking for happiness, start looking for peace. I'm older, so that's what I'm looking for. But that defines me and my 5-stage process to get there. So this is what it looks like. This is the visual. This is, of course, Notebook LM, as you can see. And what are those questions? I mean, I think it would be really fun to kind of say, I'll tell you what my 5 questions are, and then we'll start with finding out yours. So it's going to be a lively discussion, I hope, and that should be great. And then here's the workshop. So words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch, all the above. Every one of us has a percentage, though, of which is the most important. If you're looking for money, I ain't your guy. I got it, but I made my own money. You made your own money. And the woman I want to be with is a co-equal. And then we add value to each other's lives. Quality time. Time is love. The people you spend time with are the ones you love the most, period. Because you got so many hours on this planet. Anyway, that's where it goes. So then think about so this is a breakdown of Gary Chapman, who designed the term of the love languages, right? His book. And so you've got a nutrition label. So I want you to think in terms of, for me, definitely touch is number 1 or 2. Humor is huge. Quality time. I don't need gifts except for the present of your presence. Wow, that's deep. And I hope that says to one woman out there that, ooh, he's my guy. The present of his presence. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna skip
speaking
over.
Of presence of your presence. All right. So we've got a website here. And I borrowed from one of your stories. I'll see if you recognize the story. It takes place at an art museum. Yes. What happened? I stuck pipe cleaners in my nose and talked to Pablo Picasso. My date considered it endearing.
It was actually Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali. And it was a lobster phone and an AI Salvador Dali that we talked to. Yes. Okay.
And so the line is art is the line that enables us to realize the truth, which is a Pablo Picasso line.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's a fun memory, and I want to make it reflective. And I'm going to make it an anonymous story, and I'm going to create my card.
Oh, and, so this is using Nana Banana to make a card out of this?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hopefully. There we go. This story lives in the reality check. When fantasy meets reality for better or worse. This is where rom-coms end and real life begins. Looking back, every moment led somewhere meaningful.
Oh, wow.
So, and then you can share this or share another story. So, you know, this, you know, your wildest Valentine's Day story turned into a card. So, you know, it's a fun little web app.
Okay, so let me see if we can. Okay, yeah, go ahead and publish it so we can start to try this out. One of the things I would love to do is could we make it so you upload your picture with your significant other, and then you could actually gift it to them? You've seen that TV commercial, right? The guy's driving down the road, and his wife's next to him, and the song comes on, and it's about her and about when they met.
Yeah.
That I think would be kind of cool. So to really tell this story, in fact, if you want to use me as a test case, it was the Salvador Dali Museum, and we walked through it, and there was a lobster phone because Salvador Dali was way into, as we saw earlier, the lobster phone, right? He made a lobster phone as an art object. He was into technology. In fact, he was way ahead on technology. So I would imagine that was beautiful. And we stayed at this beautiful hotel that was, in fact, there's a song about it. Dolly mustaches and rose-colored glasses and dolly mustaches. So it would be cool if you told it a bit longer story, perhaps, so you could dictate into it, maybe even load it up, and I could be standing there with a lobster phone. And so in the story you told, what I'd love to have is be in the style of Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
So it's like you get the art piece too. So it utilizes what you're putting in. That I think would be kind of interesting. Is that something
and so
we could?
We can do anything. Fact, we have Lovable.
Right. We have Lovable, baby. So we can put a music with it too, right? So write me a love song. Yep. Oh my God. Okay. A card and a love song.
And I have, Suno does not have an API, but there is another tool that does. And by the way, Lovable interacts with Shopify. So you can, or in Stripe rather, so you can single shot your Stripe. So if you want to generate a fun little card, you can do that for free. But if you want the professional card to be able to email it to you without the watermark and add a love song, then you got to pay for the membership.
Oh my God.
So you could have lots of fun with this. I did add the optional image upload. So the link is there. You can play with it. It's wildestvalentine.lovable.app.
Oh, Wildest Valentine.
It is live on the interwebs. And so, you know, we will, Rick and I are going to play with that. I'll add Rick as a
collaborator. We got to land the plane tonight.
But Oh,
I love this.
We went from imagining statues to buying houses to generating Valentine's Day cards all in less than 2 hours. You never know what you're going to see on AITV Starship.
Okay, I just got really freaked out, but guess who just sent me a text? The woman from the Dali Museum that I was just talking about. I haven't talked to her in 7 months since we broke up. Hand to God.
Oh my gosh.
Not going back with her right away, but we'll see what happens. She sent me some James Taylor song. Oh wow. Okay. So next week
maybe she's watching. Maybe she was inspired by the story, and
I think love happens when you stop looking and you get right with yourself. So here's what will be our closing thing. I think the present of your presence is the greatest gift you can give to all people. I thank Bob tonight for being present, for sharing his amazing insight into the world of real estate. To Brandon, always, man, the present of your presence really brings me joy. To see you with your kids is just the most profoundly beautiful thing that I miss the most of all things getting old. My kids they don't crawl in my lap. They're both over 6 foot tall. If my son crawled in my lap, there would be problems. I'd have a hernia. But the other part is, if you are looking for love in the age of artificial everything and social media nonsense and noise, get to peace with yourself. Find a love for yourself that's profoundly beautiful. Start from there and then add value to yourself every day. Fixing the stuff, don't go into a date with baggage. You know, there's only so much room in the overhead. And I'm okay if you come with memories and you come with the gifts of memories that are raising children, etc. That I will love you for. Come with you, the authentic self. And finding love in the artificial age is actually a little bit easier if you remember the one thing. Be the best version of yourself every day and be prepared to love and define love and be around the gravity of people that you appreciate and let them know every day how much you do appreciate them. Make experiences for others that you would tell them that they're seen, they're loved, and they're cared about. And that's everybody. Love and peace to you all. Good night, Brendan. Good night, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.